Hey guys, in this video, I want to talk to you about the science of Miron glass. As some of you may know, if you've been following our YouTube channel, our Instagram, or if you frequent our website or blog, we have recently released a couple of new products. And amongst those products, we have released the JING jar, which is a glass Miron jar with the specific and sole purpose of extending the life expectancy or shelf life of your herbs and mushrooms while providing incredible protection against various oxidative stressors from the natural world. But before I get too into the science of the Miron glass jars and what they can do specifically to protect and preserve your herbs, let's talk about what Miron glass is in the first place. So Miron glass is actually a deep violet pigmented novelty glassware which utilizes the science of biophotonics. And the science of biophotonics refers to the generation and manipulation that the photons and other quantum units of light may induce. So although the light from the sun is an incredible source of energy and healing, keep in mind that all living things of the natural world have a life expectancy, that every living thing has a life cycle. And whether that's a human being, a medicinal herb, or a mushroom, there comes a time where the stress of time itself, the stress of aging, and other natural forces like light, oxygen, and heat can actually accelerate the rate of oxidation. Meaning that over time, from these various natural forces, the integrity and the health of our cells starts to diminish, and ultimately, our bodies even will decompose. However, also keep in mind that there are various and numerous things that can either accelerate or slow down this process. And in the case of our medicinal mushrooms and herbs and other supplements, this is at least where the Miron glass jar can come into play and provide incredible protection. Because the Miron glass jar has such an incredible ability to block out any sort of visible ultraviolet light, to regulate the internal temperature of the jar, and from even keeping out any sort of oxygen or air because of the airtight sealed lid, it has an incredible ability to delay any sort of decomposition, any sort of negative degenerative molecular changes to the chemical integrity of your product. It's going to actually increase the life expectancy of this herb and preserve its bioenergetic medicinal value, if you will. And this is another way of saying that the Miron glass jar is basically superior to any other container that has been studied for preserving and protecting any natural product within it, because it can block out the major offenders of oxidative stress, which are light, oxygen, and heat. And because of these qualities, the Miron glass jar and anything put inside of it is going to be incredibly protected from any sort of free radical damage that would change the molecular structure of the herb, increasing the rate of oxidation, which would lead it to become damaged and lose its integrity or medicinal value. In fact, people have even found that storing something as sensitive as rose water, which is incredibly volatile and has a very weak or fragile chemical structure, can actually preserve this substance, rose water, up to 3 years in a Miron glass jar without it becoming damaged from these various stressors. So that just goes to show you how powerful and how protective these glass jars can be. So if you've purchased our products before, you know our products come in bags and not Miron glass jars. So although it'd be more ideal, at least in terms of preservation, to put all of our products in glass Miron jars, and as we just learned, they provide scientifically ground protection to your herbs in regards to preserving their quality, the fact of the matter is they're very expensive to manufacture and they cost a lot of money to make and then to deliver. So putting all of our products in these jars would naturally increase the price of them, which is something that we don't necessarily want to do to you guys. So we had the idea to still manufacture the jar in of itself. And our idea was that first and foremost, by providing the jar separately, we don't have to increase the price point of our product. Secondly, we can actually promote the reuse and recycling of the jar itself. So rather than providing a new jar with every herb you get, meaning that every time you purchase an herb, you're going to have more jars and more jars and new jars and new jars. Instead, you can purchase 1 or 2 large or small jars and use this jar over and over again as a storehouse for your herbs. And the third benefit or use of the jar is that you can actually start to mix your own herbs and products. Again, without having to collect mountains of jars every time you purchase a product. So what we're recommending is that you get your hands on 1 or 2 of these and that you reuse them over and over again and recycle the bags that your herbs came in. So when you get your hands on one of these, you can get your herbs and you can transfer them to here in whatever quantity you want. Let's say you want to make a blend of some of your favorite herbs. You can throw them all into here. It's going to increase the life expectancy of them. It's going to help them to stay more potent for longer, and now you have it all blended into one centralized location, and you can do this over and over again without having to collect numerous of these jars and have your kitchen overflowing with various jars that you don't have many functions or uses for. But getting your hands on just one or two of them makes a lot more sense for us. It seems to be more functional, more useful, and it promotes not only the reuse of this, but also the recyclage of your previous package. So in conclusion, if you're like me and you're looking for a way to extend the shelf life, the life expectancy, and the potency or medicinal value of your herbs, then I would highly recommend looking into getting your hands on at least one or two of these jars that, again, you can recycle and reuse over and over and over again without having to get a new jar every time you get your herbs. However, that does bring this video to a close. That's all I wanted to share in today's video. If you're interested in some additional tips for extending the shelf life of your products, we have other videos on this topic, so be sure to check those out. Otherwise, if you've enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Share it with anybody that might find it helpful or useful. And of course, if you're interested in learning more about the JING jar or even purchasing one for yourself for any of these reasons, you can find that on our online tonic herb shop in the description box below.